Good morning, everybody. That's one of the fuel wagons. What a beautiful morning to go seeding. Smells fresh. It froze slightly last night. Crazy that's still freezing near the end of May. We're gonna do a run check, and then we're gonna get going here. Well, we're loading again. It sure is nice seeding out. If anything, maybe a little bit on the damp side. Old Red's been working pretty good. Can't complain. Other than it doesn't really have much of a sound system, but you know, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, truck's just taken off. We're fully loaded, and let's go see how this case pulls. So we're seeding away here, and I'm just gonna do a little run through with you guys. All right. So this is a 2019 Case 620 quad track. Okay, this is the biggest one they make. We are pulling a 1,300 bushel cart back there, 1,340 counting the saddle tank. 84 feet of Borgo drill, 12-inch space, and we got mid-row banders on there. Okay. Now, I just come off the Johnny Popper here a few days ago. I ran the Johnny all year last year, and I put like another 150, 200 hours on it this spring already. And I've probably got about a couple days under me here in Old Red. And there's a couple things that I noticed right off the go. And not only did I notice them right off the go, but when Ashton hopped in for, she made a few passes there, well actually more than a few passes, but when I went to go pull out her drill, she noticed the same things. The first thing I noticed is it noticeably has more power. Like, I'm not talking like 800 horsepower here. I'm not talking like, you know, it's gonna pull your house down, but it noticeably has an edge on old Johnny. Okay, that's the first thing I noticed. Second thing I noticed is it's louder. This Case quad track is louder, even revving at around that 1,800 RPM, 1,700 RPMs is what I was actually running at when I was first testing it out. I was going 1,750 to 1,750 on old Johnny, and yeah, it's still louder. So the other thing that I noticed right off the go is the seat's better. It's more comfortable in this red leather seat. The AC, it actually has AC. Where old Johnny doesn't even have AC seat. Like, and old Johnny's a 2018 here, okay? So it's not like, oh yeah, 2019 didn't have AC seat either. So let's move on. So those are the first things that I noticed right off the go. And so let's talk about some pros and cons. Let's talk about some pros and cons. Oh, first I got a phone call coming in. Of course I do. I guess I forgot there's a couple other things that we noticed right off the go. It's pretty awesome when you can spend a bunch of time in one tractor and then literally hop onto another tractor, and you notice, like, you'd probably notice 85% of everything right off the go. The other things that we noticed is the steering cylinders. Old Red steer is way sharper. Like, you can curve it in, and in a turn, it will actually physically turn sharper than old Johnny will. And it will do it with less resistance. Mike, what do you mean by less resistance? Well, when you have a fully loaded cart back there, especially when you're stopped or going slow and you turn that old Johnny as tight as it'll go, you can feel there's resistance on those steering cylinders. It doesn't like that load back there that you're trying to turn. Old Red, you can just one finger that puppy all the way around and it doesn't, you don't even notice it. So I really do like that. I like the less resistance steering and sharper turning. That's the other thing that we really like. One thing that I noticed, obviously, is I don't have a fridge in Old Red. I do have a fridge in Old Johnny. Now, it isn't much of a fridge. It's like the size of a case of Coke. But it at least keep my 5 sandwiches warm. Warm. Cool. Cool is what I meant to say. Where I actually got nothing in Old Red. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. I also noticed that Old Red has a crap sound system, where the John Deere has a good sound system. So I carry my beats when I'm seeding with Old Red. I also noticed I have foot pegs. I really like my foot pegs. Definitely noticed that right off the go. Another thing I noticed when I was seeding at night is that my hydraulics don't light up. Where on Johnny Popper, all my there's actually little lights in these things that they all light up. Now, guys, I'm not being hard on anybody, okay? I'm just pointing it out. I know that Case has a whole new cab, whole new monitor, and everything like that coming in, all right? But that's not till 2021. And I can't compare a 2021 against a 2019 or 18 John Deere, right? So I can only compare with what I have with comparable models. Hold on, guys, we got a power pole. And the last thing we want to do is knock out a power pole. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go around this. All right, and speaking of monitors, this Pro 700, this is a Pro 700, so you guys know that. The mapping and monitor is terrible. Compared to the John Deere is 10 times easier to run. It's got a way better mapping system. You got your center button, everything right up there. Yeah, it's easier to set a line. Yeah, the Pro 700 is not my favorite. It's actually my least favorite monitor. So the John Deere's got to beat there. But again, I'm not comparing against the new monitor that will be coming out next year. I'm comparing with what I have model year to model year, okay? Okay. The other things that we noticed right away is in the Case, the cab's bigger. I'm not quite touching the window, and I'm sitting center, and I'm not touching the window. There, now I touched it, see? So, the cab's bigger. The other nice thing is I'm sitting in my seat. Look, I can see my drill. Isn't that awesome? Because the corner post on a John Deere is right here. Corner post on a Case is here. So way better visibility when actually pulling something. What else have we got? I covered the sound system. I covered the noise. Oh, when I load my fuel tank, the fuel tank on this red, I do believe is about 450 gallons, and it's about 400 gallons, I do believe, on Old Johnny. I think it's like a 60-gallon def tank on the Case, and like, oh gosh, I'm not sure how big it is on the John Deere. Not big enough, because I have to pretty much fill it twice a day. The fuel's fine, but not the def on Old Johnny. So that gets annoying. On this tractor, I can fill it up. Yes, I burn more def than a John Deere does. It's just how the emissions work. But anyway, I can fill this tractor with fuel and def in the morning, and I can go like 16 hours and I'm not filling that puppy again. Okay? Obviously, it kind of depends on how hard you're pulling it, but I can go all day. I cannot go all day on Old Johnny. I'm either filling my fuel or I'm filling my def. Most of the time, I'm always just filling my def, because the fuel is normally pretty good. Or the Fendt, you're doing both. Okay? Now, the lights, on this one they opted for halogen lights, which is a terrible option. I don't know who orders a $600,000 tractor and it's like, you know what, those extra $2,000 for all those LED lights, nah, that's the straw that's gonna break the camel's back. But I do have two LED lights up on the cab, and they shine out there way better. So and this is coming off of our we had 2016 Case Quatracs, and we had LED lights all the way around, and the LED lights on a Case Quatrac is better. Okay, not as good as the Fendt. The Fendt wins when it comes to the lights, followed by the Case, followed by the John Deere. Now, to my pet peeve. You guys all know that one of my pet peeves is how Old Johnny shifts. It shifts like crap. I hate to say it. I'm not running it into the dirt, but it is a terrible shifting transmission. It's very delayed. In my opinion, it's very delayed. It's too delayed for this guy. Like, you saw it when I got it stuck. You go pop, 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 and it's like ka-chung, 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 ka-chung. You go a quarter mile. You go a quarter mile, and you're not even shifted up to your top gear yet. Where the Case, it's pop, 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 bang, 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 fast shifting. Maybe it's, and in my opinion, it's actually smoother shifting as well, smoother shifting. But even if it wasn't smoother shifting, it's still faster shifting, and I'll still take that, okay? Another pro to the Case versus the John Deere is the John Deere, you got your shifter here, right? You go pop, 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 pop. Then you have your RPMs right here, right? And then you have your auto steer button like back here, right? So you have three things you got to do when you turn the corner if you want to do something. I hate that. On the Case, it's all here. This is your throttle. You push it, you slow it down, okay? This is your shifter. this is your auto steer button right under here. Oh, guys, we got a rock pile. I gotta go around this thing. All right. Also on the Case is when you want to shift, it shifts in 2 gears. So it starts out in 4, but you can adjust that. But for the sake of this conversation, it starts out in 4. I shift up, goes to 6. Shift up, goes to 8, so on and so forth. But if you don't want to, there's a little button right here on the back. See this little button? You just tap this button just before you shift up, and it will split it and go up gears in increments of 1. Okay? So that's super nice, because when I actually want to shift up fast and get going, it still goes up fast. It shifts bang, 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 but you're going 2 gears at a time. Like, you're getting going. Like, it's like a sports car, all right? Hence the red, because red's always faster. So you're like in a sports car when you're in the Case, because you can get up and you can get going, you can get down that road, and you're not messing around. Where old Johnny, it's kind of like a little bit delayed, you know? You got like, I don't really know how to even compare that. You're trying to shift it up, doing one. It's like driving an 18-wheeler. You got to go pretty much 1 gear at a time, even if you're emptying. It's painful. All right? All right. So that pretty much covers the basics. Now, this is a 2019, like I said. The 2016s are the exact same. They haven't changed anything in these things. They might have tweaked a little bit here, tweaked a little bit there, but it's the same. Now, the 2021 models are going to be all new cab, pretty much same engine, frame, and everything else, but it will have a new cab, have a new monitor, have new... It's gonna look a lot different. It won't have any of this corner post display. It's gonna have like a little tablet right here. It's gonna look pretty sick. I look forward to that. Yeah. So let's continue on to as far as pulling. So we got some hills here. Now we're fully loaded. Now we know that it pulls a little bit better than the Deere. We know that. But with this engine, if you're climbing this hill, you gotta start getting shifted down, because you really don't want to drop this RPM below 1900. You drop this thing below 1900, climbing up a hill loaded, even by the time you're shifting down, it's too late, you guys. It's too late. This thing has got turbo. She's got to be wound right out. It's got to be balls to the walls, or you're gonna be screwed. Where the old Johnny, you could let her lug a little bit more, maybe get her down to that 1700. And it'd be about the same as this one at 1900, right? So we're gonna shift down here. Look at that, nice smooth shift. We're gonna rev this thing right out, and we're gonna have all the power in the world. You just have to think ahead a little bit more. Where I think Johnny has a little bit more lugging versus this engine. But when this engine is revved all the way up like this, it'll outpull Johnny any day. I hate to break it to you, but it will. As far as slip, this tractor is weighted around 60,000 pounds. That's a standard weight. There's no extra weights on these things. That's what our 2016 models were weighed in as well. Hold on, I'm just going to shift here. And the most I've had this tractor up to slip, climbing some big hills, to the point I was in first gear. First gear. I think I was up at about 10-12% slip, which is getting up there. But old Johnny, I was up to like 16 or 18% slip. So, and that was with my Johnny with an extra 5,000 pounds weight on him, weighing in about 65,000. So a 60,000 pound Case quad track for slippage pulls like a 65,000 pound weighted up John Deere. So it just pulls better. It can get the traction to the ground better. And yeah, I guess I got to turn around here, guys. So typically I'm running about that 5th gear, 4.8 at around 1870 RPM. So I just idle it back. I'm not going to go into any of the auto features on this tractor versus the Johnny, because I don't use the auto features. I have used the auto features, and I do not like them. All right. So anyway, moving on. One thing we haven't really talked about is we haven't talked about the air filters. Now, typically, the air filters on a Case, at least on our cases, they plug a lot easier and a lot quicker than old Johnny. I went a whole season with old Johnny without doing an air filter last year, and typically I would go through like 4 air filters. There's 2 in there, so you change these things out twice on a Case. This year it's been awfully wet. Obviously, there's no dust. If there's no dust, you're not going to have to worry about it, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. And to really put that into perspective, normally I would do the exact same thing with the Fendt 1050. You're always changing air filters in it. But again, we haven't even changed an air filter in it. It's just too wet. There's no dust, so that's a pro, I guess. All right. What else? What else am I missing? What else am I missing, you guys? What else am I missing? Alright, so let's go over some pros and cons. Let's do the cons first. Con number 1, it's louder. Con number 2, the sound system sucks. Why? Because there's absolutely no speakers. They're all in behind the liner. Con number 3, this monitor. This monitor is it's not good for mapping. You gotta page through multiple things. It's not very fun to set lines on. It's just not that user-friendly, to be quite honest with you. Con number 4, the hydraulics have no lights on them. Con number 5, there is no fridge. Where is my fridge? Anywhere. There's room for a fridge. There's no fridge. Con number 6 is it's rougher on the road. On the road, it's rougher. So that's 6 cons. Let's do the pros. I just went around that power pole there. So the pros. Pro number 1 is it pulls better than the old Johnny. You gotta have this thing pretty much at about 2,000, 2,100 RPM to get the best pull. As you can tell, I don't need it right now, so I got it idled back. Pro number 2 is the cab is bigger. It's a bigger cab in here. And you have foot pegs. I like foot pegs. Pro number 3 is you can go all day on your fuel and DEF. You fill it in the morning and you're good for all day. Now it does burn more DEF. That's just how the emissions work on it, but it's still a pro that you can fill in the morning and you don't have to stop again. What are we, Pro 4? I can't remember. Pro 4, we'll say we're Pro 4. Everything is on one spot. My RPMs, my shifters, I could have some hydraulics, my auto steering gauge, I got a gear splitter in the back so because I can go up in 2s or 1s, so everything is right here. That's a big pro. Pro 5 is the transmission shifts. It shifts quicker, it shifts smoother, and you can get to your gears faster. So basically the definition of quicker is bang, 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 bang. Gears faster is you can go up in 2s. And shifting smoother is it shifts smoother. And even if it didn't shift smoother, which I think it does, it's still better transmission because it would go pop, 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 pop. All right. Pro 6. I think we're at Pro 6. Are we at Pro 6? I don't even know anymore. I'm starting to lose track. Pro 6 is for weight. It pulls better. Meaning, I've climbed some big hills, some hills that I've had to shift right down the first gear on, and yes, I reached like 12% whatever slip, but this is a 60,000 pound tractor, not a 65,000 pound tractor, in which I was showing you guys comparing with. So you don't have to have as much weight on the old quad. And Pro 7, I think we're in Pro 7. Ha! Pro 700, get it? No pun intended. Anyway, Pro 7 is it's smoother in the field. As you know, when you go across the drill ridges on all Johnny, like the hood will stop bouncing. Alright, it's much smoother in the quad track. Rougher on the road, but smoother in the field. Pro 8, the seat. You actually have an AC seat. You got an air-conditioned seat, you guys. It actually works. Like, unlike Johnny, you don't even have that option. And the seat is far more comfortable. And even the buddy seat has like this much cushion. There's like this much cushion on a John Deere buddy seat. Yeah. Now, I just want to clarify. I am not bashing any one color. I don't color bash. I do not promote color bashing. If you're going to color bash, then unsubscribe. Alright? I don't promote that. I don't tolerate that. I will delete comments if you're just going to bash colors. Okay? I'm not interested in John Deere guy bashing red. I'm not interested in a Fendt guy bashing John Deere. Alright? I'm not interested in any of that. I want to have a conversation and a channel where we can talk openly, unbiasedly, and say, hey, you know what? This area of the Case is better. Hey, you know what though? In this area the John Deere's better. Hey, you know what though? In this area the Fendt is better. I want to have those open discussions because you're never going to find a tractor, a combine, a sprayer, an MFD tractor, whatever it might be. You're never going to find a piece of equipment that fits everybody's standards, alright? It's going to be lacking in something. It's going to be lacking in power. It's going to be lacking in whatever it might be, alright? And again, what might work for you might not work for me, and what might work for me might not work for you. I'm just telling you what I need on my operation. These drills, they pull really hard back there. And I challenge tractors, all right? That's what I do. I challenge tractors. So, not only are we talking about colors of tractors, we don't just buy for power. Though right now power is needed. I pretty much buy for warranty. Warranty and service are right near the top. Power is tied in there, right there too. But again, dealers make a huge difference. You can probably have a Polaris dealership somewhere right close to you, kicking out tractors, being the best dealership in the whole world, and you're going to sell them. You can have a John Deere dealership or a Fendt dealership or a Case dealership that might not give a crap about you, and they might have awesome stuff, but they're not going to sell them. I wasn't putting Polaris down, by the way. I just needed that. I needed something. So, yeah. Let's go pull some hills. We're going to attempt to climb a hill here. We're still full. We're down to third gear, and I hope that we can make it up. I would not make it up this with old Johnny, but we're going to try with the old Case here. So, the most important thing is we keep our RPMs high. If we have to start to shift, we need to shift at like 1950, or we're not going to recover. So far, we're doing good. We got 3% slip. Oh, she's lugging down. We're gonna shift. We're gonna shift. We're gonna shift. Oh. We're 6% slip. Oh, we're climbing it. We didn't have to shift. Old Johnny would have had something to say about that hill. Now we're shifting up. Watch this. Watch this. Bam. Boom. Up to speed. No time at all. We'd still be shifting right now with old Johnny. We'd still be shifting. Okay, we would have just got up to where we wanted to be. Here we go again. Easy peasy. Nothing makes me more nervous than those power lines, you guys. Some of those lines, I probably only clear the railing of that cart by 3 feet. 3 feet. Ugh. So yeah, power lines can be a pain in the butt. So there's a line right here. It's actually a little bit too low, I believe, that I can get under. So we're just gonna seed underneath it here. And we're going to do a loop around this power pole. The highest point is always the power pole, right? Because it always sags. It sags in the middle. So if you're going to get under something that you think might be a little bit too low, then you always want to stay close to that power pole. Because believe me, power lines are not your friends. Unfortunately, there's a slough here. I cannot go all the way around that power pole. So looks like we're going to just continuing on. So yeah, we have lots of power poles on our land, you guys. It's not underground. I do not know why it's not underground. It's a pain in the butt. And I don't know the stats, but all I know is farmers take down a lot of poles every year. All by accident, obviously. And unfortunately, I think there is people killed every year because of it. So watching power lines, watching the drag in the power lines, sometimes, you know, it can, obviously if it's too low, you'd call SAS Power. But that doesn't help you right now. And of course the machinery is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And some of these old lines, they could be 20 years old. Well, machinery has definitely grown in 20 years. Okay. So I'm still going around this loop. So there's power lines going this way. And then over there's power lines going this way. So there's power lines all over in this field. So you definitely don't want to fall asleep. Actually, you never want to fall asleep anytime. But you definitely want to make sure you have extra tension going on when there's power poles. Yes. So what I've done here on these power lines, I have done 2 headland passes on each side. So that way I've got lots of room I can turn around without going underneath the line, because I can't really fit underneath that line. It's not bad for me because I know what lines I can fit under and what lines I can't. The problem arises if you get new operators out here and they're like derpy, derpy, derp, derp, derpy, derpy, derp, derp, and then oh man, we gotta get some of these lines lifted or just buried. Oh, they don't bury. If they bury, that's money to you. They do some lifty though. But anyway, thanks for riding along with me today, guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed yourself. Hope you guys have gained a little bit of knowledge versus the Case or John Deere. I know I have. I had to shut that radio off again. One other thing I guess I forgot to mention was, which was a pro on the Case, is the steering. So I don't know if that's Pro 8 or Pro 9. I don't even know anymore, but it steers sharper and there's less resistance while steering. Yeah.